Time for another episode of Pottawattamie County Routes. I am Todd Studer, and we're welcoming a special guest back into the studio today, Candy Steenbock. She is an epidemiologist for Pottawattamie County. Good to see you today.
Yes, good to see you again.
Have you been busy?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes. There's always the fun. We're coming down off of the respiratory season, but then you go into some of the illnesses you see during the summer. So it just cycles for me.
Is there things that I need to expect?
When you think about the summer illnesses I might deal with, we're talking more foodborne related. Sometimes individuals for things like the 4th of July, you might not think of your raw patty plate. You can't reuse that for the cooked hamburgers. And people occasionally do, and that puts you at risk for something like E. coli.
I was just grilling last night, and I took a plate of chicken out to the grill, and just as soon as I got everything transferred over to the grill, I took the plate back inside and washed it. Good. Because that's not something that
Good deal.
I need to...
My husband would hate that I share this, but one time he served me dinner, and I noticed it was like the raw seasoning plate, and I was like, did you put my dinner back on the raw chicken plate? I was like, do you not know what I do for work?
You married the wrong woman if you think you can get away with that.
Yes.
Well, that makes sense. But also, that is actually something that I hadn't thought about, that would be something especially prevalent in the summertime because it's so much hotter. So correct me if I'm wrong, that our window of safety drastically reduces.
Yes.
The hotter it is. Would that be correct?
Yes, because there's that pretty much window of safe temperature for like foods that can spoil. So if it's above 40 degrees, it's out of that refrigerated temperature, and it's so hot outside you're getting close to the cooking temperature, but you're still below that. So it's a window of error that you think you can leave it out for your gathering for typically they say 2 hours. If it's as hot as it's been this week, if it's like pasta salad, I wouldn't eat it after like an hour. That's just my personal experience with these things, because that bacteria can really fester in that window of not being refrigerated and then cooling down from cooking. That's a nasty window.
I'm flashing back to when I was a kid and we'd go to these potlucks or family reunions or whatever. This food's just sitting out all day.
Yes.
And we're just going through there. Now, did I get sick later? Maybe, maybe not. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But had I gotten sick, I probably wouldn't have thought that it had anything to do with the food. I mean, that's just how we were back then.
I think knowing the things that I know, I don't even risk it anymore. Yeah. But there are plenty of instances to where I have enjoyed food, and I'm like, wow, that's been out for a while. But sometimes the risk is worth the reward, right? I really wanted pasta salad.
Yeah,
at the
I get
4th
it.
of July party.
Right. Yeah, I was a coleslaw kind of guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, we actually brought you in not to talk about foodborne illnesses today because I'm not sure if everyone is aware that there's a recycling center in Oakland.
Yes, Pottawattamie County has their own recycling center for the rural parts of the county. So we have our great resource, the Council Bluffs Recycling Center. They serve Council Bluffs, but they'll also accept items from pretty much anywhere. And we have a location thanks to the iOS Foundation and the Recycling Task Force that was built in 2018. That is out in Oakland, and that's kind of our central recycling center for the rural parts of Pottawattamie County to improve that access to recycling.
What types of things can people bring there to be able to utilize that recycling center?
Right. So there's some things you can bring free of charge. So you think of really your standard recyclables, paper, the plastics, not the special plastics. So it's like the number 1 through 5 on the bottom of your item. Within that recycle triangle, it'll have a number. So they can accept 1 through 5 fairly easily. And then we can also take things like newspapers, cardboard, glass, and then some metal products, including like aluminum. And then there's other things for a negligible fee that they can accept. So if you want to think about things like paint, that's free, but that's a household hazardous material. That's the kind of acronym for that. You don't want to just throw that in the trash.
Right.
You can take that out to the recycling center, and they will properly dispose of that for you to help pretty much protect our environment as well. So we're doing a dual purpose of keeping more things out of the landfill that are recyclable, but also protecting our environment for longevity of our community and just environmental stewardship.
Finding the right care for a loved one can feel overwhelming. Assisted Living Locators is here to help. Jean Bonker brings more than 30 years of experience serving families and has personally navigated the challenges of elder care. She understands the questions, the emotions, and the weight of these decisions. Jean becomes your advocate, guiding you through options with clarity, compassion, and personal support every step of the way. Call Assisted Living Locators at 402-690-5467 and move forward with confidence. Primrose Retirement Community in Council Bluffs believes home should be a place of comfort, connection, and care. From personalized support to engaging daily activities, everything they do is designed to help residents live fully and confidently. At Primrose, that's their priority, to put the quality of their residents' care and daily needs at the top of their list each day and every day. It's not just about where you live, it's about how you live. Learn more about life at Primrose by going to primroseretirement.com and then contact Jamie Bush at Primrose and discover a place that truly puts people first. Is this designed for residents or, most recycling centers, it's a different deal for businesses?
Yes, we can also take some things for a fee. I believe they charge by the ton out there at the recycling center for like building material waste. They can take things like that, but there is some fees associated with more of like industrial or a business taking their recyclables or their debris out there. So there's a few things they cannot take. If you think about like your tree debris and yard waste, our recycling center does not take that out at Oakland. But they can take things like batteries, waste oil, things like that. So there is always an opportunity to, if you're unsure, check with the recycling center. You can call them. And we also list a lot of the details on our public health webpage. So it is essentially a function under public health for a few various reasons, protecting the environment and also just planning and development type of, it's all under the same umbrella at this time. So it's under our webpage on the Pottawattamie County website.
What if I don't live in Oakland? And is there a way for me to be able to utilize this?
Yes, we have a great resource for some of our other communities in the county. There are trailers, so it's pretty much a little off-site satellite recycling collection that our staff from the recycling center will go through and pick up. So I know that there are permanent trailers out at Crescent, Trainer, Underwood, I believe, and then there might be another community there, but there's a rotating trailer as well that goes to some of our smaller communities way out east. So I believe like Walnut, Hancock, Macedonia, Carson, they share a trailer, so it gets rotated by our recycling center staff and picked up as it's rotated. So it just gives an extra opportunity for recycling because when you're in those smaller communities, curbside is just not an option. It's not feasible. It would add a huge expense to like your trash bill. So Council Bluffs, we have such a volume of individuals that it makes sense for really what it costs, and because it's not free to recycle. Once you get the things to a recycling center, that is not free to process those things, to pay your staff, etc. So somewhere like Council Bluffs makes sense to have curbside because of the volume of buckets that are picked up, and the cost can be distributed through citizens. It's just part of our trash bill pretty much. It's free recycling, but it's factored into your waste collection. If you think about things like our rural parts of the county, when you have a smaller population and not everyone's utilizing it, someone like a company that picks up waste is not going to make the trip for 25 bins because the truck cost, the labor cost. So really this was our solution for still allowing a recycling option because of how important recycling is to just like keep things out of the landfill. And also we of course want to reuse our resources as much as possible. this is how we were able to establish that. And then the busiest trailers stay put in those communities, and then we still offer it to the other communities just on a rotating basis.
Well, you mentioned how, such as in Council Bluffs and in other places, that it's all part of waste collection. This is not just general waste, though.
Right.
You don't need to take your bag of trash
Yes.
and throw it in a bin at the recycling center just
Right.
because it might resemble a dumpster or something like that.
Correct.
That's not what this is designed for.
No, this is for like specific recyclables that we're trying to keep out of the landfill. So you might get some deliveries and break down your cardboard boxes, and as opposed to those going to the landfill and taking years and years and years to break down, even though it's a paper product, it's hard to believe that cardboard does take a really long time to break down. It can go to our recycling center and through various processes, hopefully get repurposed.
Service Master Restore by Schmader knows it can be hard to get things back to normal when you've suffered serious property damage due to flooding, fire, or smoke, and that can oftentimes lead to mold, and you may be left with all sorts of questions about how to get your home or business back to normal. It's easy. You give Cindy Schmader a call with Service Master Restore by Schmader. Her phone number, 402-339-9911. If you have a leak, a clogged drain, or even if you're planning a big remodel, Waldstein Plumbing in Council Bluffs has you covered. With fast, reliable service and expert craftsmanship, handling everything from small repairs to major installations. They're locally owned and trusted and take pride in doing the job right the first time. Residential or commercial, big or small, when plumbing problems strike, they're the ones to call. Visit waldsteinplumbing.com.
Oh.
Well, that makes sense. And I've actually used cardboard, recycling it in my garden because I used it to lay down as a weed block.
Weed barrier.
and it worked pretty well.
Yes. I get a lot of packages, though, so I have to have a lot of garden beds to use all my...
But also, you mentioned something else there, breaking down your cardboard boxes.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't do that and they're still intact as a box, it uses up a lot of space very, very quickly.
Yes.
And then the majority of what's inside of that bin is actually air.
Yes.
Because you haven't broken down the box. So getting them flat, making sure they're in there flat and not leaning up against each other, all of this just makes it easier for your friends and neighbors to be able to use that same service.
And you got to think about some cardboard, if it's like pizza boxes, that's not recyclable because it's pizza boxes that have like the food stains in there. That's what's not recyclable. So yeah, what else?
I think you're actually giving some information here because that's new to me. I didn't know that.
I made sure plastic bags. So you don't want to throw like your grocery sacks in there. Those are not a recyclable item. Styrofoam. So your food takeout containers, food contaminated paper and cardboard such as greasy pizza boxes. Those are some non-acceptable recyclables, not recyclable.
Yeah.
That's
either way, keep that in mind that your pizza boxes don't belong in with the rest of the cardboard that's being recycled.
And you want to rinse as best you can because if you really contaminate, it really can kind of mess up the recycle process if, say, things get spoiled and messed up with old milk. So if you can rinse your containers, it does help.
Well, and along those same lines, it helps with your recycle container that you have in your garage or wherever it is too. You got food residue in there, it's going to start to smell pretty bad. So you rinse it out, solves a lot of those problems.
Yes.
Well, this is really good information to be able to have. And I know that the recycling center in Oakland has been there for a little while.
Yes.
But based on the usage, maybe not as many people know about it as that should.
It's well utilized and it's great, but it could always... We will take more.
Yeah.
So I just really wanted to share the message as well because, like you said, some people might just not know. They might know there's a building out in Oakland called the Recycling Center. They might not know that that is like a service for citizens. I think that maybe they thought it was a processing center or just a hub for other locations, but you can actually take things straight to the recycling center. Fun fact, they have like a free little thrift shop there called the Swap Shop.
Really?
So if there's items that people bring in to recycle, but they're actually like a household item, cups, dishes, kids' toys, couches, tables, things that are still usable, they go in the swap shop and you can drop off your recycling. You can walk through the swap shop, find yourself a treasure. I have a couple mugs on my desk that were just these great Halloween themed mugs from the swap shop. I love them. And they're fun.
Now I have to go.
Yeah.
I haven't been there, but
It's
I
fun.
don't live in Oakland, and
Yeah.
or I don't live in a small town. I'm a Council Bluffs resident, so it is important. I just never get out
Keeping
there
more
for
things
it.
out of landfill, and it's kind of a fun little side thing that they don't make them take the items elsewhere. We have another alternative to where it's a fun little store in there. Free store.
So, moral of the story: recycle and don't put your cooked grilled products back on the same plate that you took them out with before you cooked them. Don't do that either.
Yes.
All of that. All of this is wonderful information, Candy. We thank you so much for your time and coming in. And I know that you're a busy woman, and to carve out a little time to be able to come over and do this is we're honored that you do that.
Well,
So
thank you so much.
anytime you have something coming up, reach out, let us know. We'd love to help out and help spread the word.
Yes. Public health is many, many hats. So we're happy to share all the different things that we do. So.
And we are also happy that we have our hometown sponsors on the show, including Brewed Awakening in Avoca. So stop in, get a great cup of coffee, say hi to Bella, support local businesses. And that's just another one that is out there just grinding away. And Bella's doing a fantastic job, and we want to be able to support her. So thank you so much for watching this episode of Pottawattamie County Routes. My name is Todd Studer, and we'll see you next time.